Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. How's your day? I hope you guys always healthy and happy. So today we are from group 10. I'm Vika Novitasari and my friend Dian Ramadhani will explain about the material of literary criticism. What do you know about literary criticism? Maybe some of you didn't know about literary criticism, but it's okay because in this occasion we will explain it for you. So keep on watching, guys. Okay, so the first explanation will be delivered by me. Definition: English word criticism derives from the ancient Greek terms kritos, meaning judge. Literary criticism is the formal study and discussion of work literature. For example, by judging and explaining their importance and meaning. In literary criticism, authors and their literary creation, which might include novel, short stories, essays, plays, and poetry, are analyzed, interpreted, and evaluated. As history progresses, people change, and literature advances, so does literary criticism. Although this may not always be the case because the literary criticism of one century may or may not immediately influence the criticism of the following age. The evaluation of literary criticism can be easily observed as a linear and chronological progression. The first is the classical era. The majority of the writings from this era concentrate on the literary theory, the more conceptual area of literary analysis. As a result, the works consider the type of literature they are analyzing on over-analysis techniques. Second, the medieval era. Because religious literary received the majority of the attention in the Middle Age literary criticism, certain crucial ideas from religious philosophy were incorporated into literary theory. Third, the Renaissance era. The Renaissance provided a return to classical writings and ideas, as it did in many other fields. Aristotle's Poetics, for instance, was translated into the Latin and annotated by numerous writers, which solidified the vocabulary he created. Next, a Romantical era. Literary criticism and literature itself were both greatly influenced by the Romantic period's emphasis on using literature to transform the ordinary into the sublime. Particularly in England, Romantics appreciated literature for both its form and content. German Romantic, on the other hand, praise and humor and originality. And finally, the last is a new criticism. The kind of criticism focuses on the close reading of the context itself to drive meaning while ignoring the author, and frequently the context of the works. An unintentional result of this change in emphasis is that, despite being informed by literary theory, the majority of the contemporary literary critics only concentrate on the analysis and criticism of the text.
Hello, my name is Dian Ramadhani, number in PM2 11110400149. Here I want to continue the material about criticism, literature, and introduction. My part is types of literary criticism, example of literary criticism, and also step by step how to criticism a literature. So, the first one I want to talk about types of literary criticism. There are many types of literary. A literary criticism that is based on evidence that relates to story or culture. First, I have traditional criticism. Traditional criticism evaluates an author's biographical information by their culture, background, and history. The second is sociological criticism. Sociological criticism evaluates a text based on its relation to a particular society and its larger social context. The third is a new criticism. New criticism broke from traditional criticism, however, where traditional criticism focused on biography and history, new criticism views the work from a close reading and ignores historical, political, or biographical context. The fourth is reader response criticism, where new criticism focuses on the form and structure of a work apart from any emotion. Reader response criticism relies on the emotion of the reader, the evaluate of literary text. And the last I have feminist criticism. A feminist critical lens evaluates and interprets a work through the perspective of feminism. Some feminist criticism analyze the gender of an author in order to understand how a piece of literature is written. The second material is example of literary criticism. The first I have Thinking About Woman by Mary Ellman. Mary Ellman Thinking About Woman is a book of essay published in 1968. It is one of the most important examples of feminist criticism. It attacks misperception of women in literature, discusses the representation of women, how it has evolved throughout time, and speaks out against literary prejudice. And the second I have Critique of Judgment by Immanuel Kant. Kant's Critique of Judgment is an important piece of 8th century literary criticism. It was published in 1790 and explored the limits of knowledge. He writes that there are four. And the last example I have New Criticism by John Crowley. John Crowley Ransom published New Criticism in 1941. It explored a formalist criticism movement in the United States, popular in the mid-20th century. It focused on the importance of close reading, especially when it comes to poetry. And the last material I want to talk about step by step how to criticize a literature. Step 1. Formulate the problem. Topics that match the issues and interests problems must be written completely and accurately. Step 2. Search literature. Search literature relevant to research to get an overview of the research topic. Search of researchers are very helpful if they are supported by knowledge about the topic being studied. This search provides an overview or summary of previous research. Step 3. Data evaluation. Any contribution to the topic discussed, search and find the right data source as needed to support research. Data can be qualitative data, quantitative data, or data that comes from a combination of the two. And the last I have analysis and interpret, discuss, and find and summarize literature. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, that's all about our material today. Hopefully, this explanation will make you understand in literary criticism. And then if you're still confused and have a question, you can ask me and we will answer the question in the offline class. So, see you in the offline class, guys. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye.